Yeah. We show up after the clock, coffee gone, boards unlocked. You move your night, I move my mind. Late to chess, but right on time. Tell me what you saw before the queen fell hard. Every bad idea turns into a spark. Late to chess, we make a mess, then we make sense. Late to chess, one more game, one more defense. Late to chess.
Welcome back to Late to Chess Podcast. We're back again. We've talked about the importance of playing games, long games, and the analysis of those games or the annotation of those games many times. However, I'm giving an intro for our guest who's coming on. With the discussion I had with one of our prior guests, who happens to be the current guest as well, we started talking about the difference between annotation and analysis. And we stayed late. We did overtime post podcast. And I was like, it might be a good idea to go through one of these because we've gotten like 4 or 5 people right in saying, how do you annotate a game? What's the way do you do it? Blah, blah, blah. So with that, welcome back to the podcast, Claude Fried.
Pleasure to be here, as always.
Guess what we're going to do?
I have a feeling.
It's subtle, but somehow we pieced it together. So let me see. Oh, do you have any pregame warm-up questions, or are we going deep?
We're looking at a game or possibly 2. Tell me about when were they? Tell me about kind of how you played them. Were they straight up online? Were you playing over the board as well, like looking at a 3D set? What would bring me into your mind as you were going through these? Were these during a busy workday? Did you carve out time? Tell me, put me in the right place mentally for them.
Well, I admire you for many things, and now I have to admire you for your valor because you want to be put into my mind, which is a scary place to be. But these were online games. And since I knew we were going to do this, we talked about having them be fairly fresh. So these are all within the past couple days. And these were played against some bots, depending on which game we talk about, 2 different bots. One was a Chessiverse bot, and one was a Maya/Stockfish pseudo bot that was rated 50 points higher than me at the time. And one game was strictly online. The Chessiverse game was online. The second game was played on my Chestnut Evo game. So it was a online, but all over the board. I tried to play both as if they were like a 30-30 game pace-wise. So I didn't take a 4-hour break and contemplate my move and come back at some point or anything like that. So trying to replicate a 30-30 game. The only reason these games are against bots is I didn't have the editing skills to blank out who I'm playing against. So I didn't want to, portray them, or if we criticize their game or their play, I didn't want anybody to come back at me, 15 years later when they find this podcast, and then say, what are you talking about my game like that? I'm like, I just didn't feel like doing it. So if a bot comes chasing after me, we've got other problems because, we've entered Terminator 2. Agreed. So that's kind of it.
Okay, great.
I was on vacation. So no work, well, a little work because, vacation doesn't mean you're all the way on vacation. So very little work, fairly relaxed, no long day. And I would say my focus was like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, maybe. Not full immersement because, we're down on vacation with a house full of 20 family members. So I don't think I've ever focused on anything at this point. So, but,
right.
We're trying.
Okay, great.
All right. So
the stage is set.
Right. And for the listeners who are very good at this game, they can probably follow along just verbally. For those of you who are near my level, It may be better to go over to our YouTube channel where we'll be streaming the video so you can see the board as it progresses. I know if I was listening to this and somebody started doing E4, 6, C7, I would be lost in less than a minute. And those aren't even real moves because I just made them up at the top of my head. Anyway, so if it was your druthers, because who knows what a druther is, but if it was yours, would you rather have the chess-averse game or the chestnut game?
Let's see. Did you play black in both games?
Let's see. I played black in this one. Yep, I did.
Okay. It's up to you. If I were doing this for myself, I would go chronological.
Okay, so let's see.
So that's at
Seven,
least one
6,
way to think of it. But
7, 3. So this was 7-3. Okay, so this was right before.
depending on if you wanna if you'd prefer to like dig deeper into one rather than trying to get to both, then I defer to you having like what happened in both games and I don't.
Let's see.
So
These are
if one of them is
32 moves on this one, and this one was 47.
okay.
So
What if it's no different to you, then let's just go with the first one first, I guess.
first one first. So that would be first one first is Sammy Sveshnikov
All right.
from the Chessiverse universe.
And do you play against bots often? Is that
I do when I can't schedule things.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
with it being a vacation, the odds on me being able to have somebody and say, "Hey, at 7 o'clock, I can be,"
Hmm.
it was hard enough to do this because what I
Yeah.
basically did was I bought a bunch of cupcakes for a birthday party for one of the members who was here,
Hmm.
and I got everybody on sugar high, so they're all coked out in the living room or out by the pool, and I am secluded up here in the only room that has a table. So that's me.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so let's roll with this. So
Let's do it.
my opponent Sammy played e4. Um, my comment for this, my annotation was standard first move for most games versus white because most of the games they play e4. Nothing there, and you can jump in anytime.
Hmm. Hmm.
D6 is my standard first move. I'm working on a version of either the King's Indian or the Pirts,
Hmm.
depending on who you talk to and who gets yelled at for pronunciations. And sometimes they transpose. So,
Uh-huh.
so D6 is how I like to start.
Okay.
This is relatively new to me. I think I'm still in the upswing slope for learning this one.
Great.
D4, they take the center. It seems to be a typical reaction after I do my D6 move. They want to take both center squares on E4 and D4. So I think that means this changes over to a Pierce, if I remember right.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, so it's a
If you
transposition.
do you want to start naming stuff, yeah.
Yeah, hey, I'm so fluent in this opening.
Yeah, so
Uh,
far it just looks very standard. Like black is setting up a dark square defense. So I had mentioned that kind of terminology to you before, like the
mhm,
dark square versus light square defense. And white's just taking the center.
right.
So far so good from both sides.
So I never consciously or conscientiously, either one, thought of it as a dark square versus light square. So I don't have that in my thinking repertoire yet, but I guess maybe I'm effectively doing it, just not knowingly doing it.
I lost you for a second, but
Oh, sorry. I
I think
don't
we're here.
think of things as in the dark square, light square.
Mm,
So maybe it's a within the move order that I've learned, it's being addressed, but it's not one of my thoughts.
yeah, great. Perfect. So if we were to just stop here, even before you play, like after your second move after D6,
Hmm.
what is your aim in general with this opening after your first move D6 in reply to E4? Do you like, can you put into words like what you're trying to accomplish?
So
Uh,
my D6 first move is to keep them from pushing the E pawn forward. So otherwise I would
okay.
play knight F6 first. So I don't want to do
Mm,
that. I don't
okay.
want that to be a response to them. So the D6 kind of prepares for knight F6. And then I
Hmm.
just want to do my fianchetto of my dark square bishop castle and then look at what they've
Hmm.
done. Uh, and then have
Right.
responses. I have like 5 or 6 different responses for that. However, one thing I'm trying to be conscious of is to look at, like if they played here queen to g4. Well, I'm not going to fianchetto my bishop. I'll just
Hmm.
take your queen, So I'm trying
Yeah.
to know the opening, yet still think through the
Hmm.
opening.
Yeah. Great.
So
Okay. That's
I
good
think,
enough for now. Yeah, by playing this way, you're definitely kind of surrendering space to
hmm
white, if they want to take it.
yes,
But you're definitely making a claim for the dark squares in the center, or at least on your side of the board. So all good. I think thinking like broad picture like that sometimes helps with decision making, which is why I like to just talk through
yeah,
it,
yeah.
for my own stuff. Okay, cool. So after
So,
knight
so one thing
f6.
I have noticed is it because typically when somebody would play d4, I would play d5, or when somebody played e4, I would have played e5.
Mm,
Um, when I've started doing these, I think they're called modern or hyper modern type approaches. I've noticed that it's easier for me, I feel, to pick apart their defense once I know where it is than to be prepared for all their potential defenses. Remember, we got into that discussion about how I like the Scotch, but nobody ever lets me do it. They hit me with a
hmm.
Sicilian, and
Yeah.
then I just, resign after 3 moves, or I might as well.
Right.
So that this seems to appeal to my my
Yeah,
counter punching type.
absolutely. I love it.
All right, so they play one of the more standard moves, which is knight c3. It's kind of forced because I'm attacking their e pawn, so they defend it with their knight.
Mhm.
I have seen some other approaches to defending the pawn. I have seen people push the pawn, but I think this is kind of like, if you were going to say mainline, this would be kind of the standard or mainline, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
So next I play g6, making a room for my bishop to fianchetto and then castle quickly. I have noticed since I switched to this type of approach that by castling early, I am pretty assured of getting to a middle game, and my king is very safe. And usually it's safe long before my opponent.
Hmm.
Because if you look at their side right now, you've got at least 2 pieces required to castle either way. And I am 1 piece away. So I'll be castling in like 2 moves most normally, unless they do something weird, either
Hmm.
offensively or poorly. So
Hmm.
that's kind of my thought here.
Cool.
Knight f3. So this is what is called the classical response in what I had studied. So the 2 knights out. The only thing that I would like that would be better is if they blocked in one of their bishops, but both of their bishops are open and able to. I think in Levy's book he calls this the golden setup for white right now, but I don't care. I'm going
Mm.
to tear it apart. It's my job. So castling bg7. So now I'm sorry, fianchettoing to allow castling by playing bishop to g7. I like the long diagonal. I actually prefer the light square bishop to be fianchettoed than the dark square, but that's not part of the opening because usually people castle kingside, and I like to have the fianchettoed bishop aiming at the king if I can. But you know,
Mm. Interesting.
just just a thought.
Okay.
And this is probably pamphlet book move number 4. So then they play h3.
Mhm.
I think the thought process behind this would be trying to stop me from getting to the g4 square with either my bishop or my knight, most likely my bishop, which would pin their knight to the queen.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's probably a decent move for them. Jesse would say it's not a developing move and be unhappy about it. But I think if I did get my bishop to g4, that would be a kind of a nuisance for them. So I can see why people play this. I mean, I've played it with, this is a bot, but I played it against humans and they've done this fairly often as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's definitely some controversy to H3. So I agree with Jesse that it's maybe not maybe not a good move, but it does stop one of your potentially main plans, which is to trade your light squared bishop for the knight of his that controls dark squares.
Yes.
So the knight on f3.
Yes.
And as we've already talked about, since your strategy is sort of revolving around the dark squares, it would make sense that White's a little more sensitive about their dark squares. Is it an overreaction? Definitely. Like it wastes a move. He should play Bishop E2 and Castle probably. I don't know the theory here, so there might be some theoretical stuff, reasons why my idea is bad, but definitely that's where my mind goes. H3 looks like a waste of time. Nothing catastrophic, but probably not making the most of the opening. But
So,
anyway,
so like a good, not great, probably.
it's okay. Like it doesn't ruin anything.
Yeah, you're not
And
going to lose because of it, but it's not
right.
helping.
Exactly. As Magnus has taught us, you can do very many things in the opening, and none of it really matters.
Yeah.
It's not like we're playing in the 80s and 90s where like opening theory, cutting edge opening theory was what won you a game. It's not like that anymore. So anyway,
Yeah.
all this looks fine. All this
But
looks totally
I
fine.
will argue the other side of it. If you are really bad at your opening theory, it will lose you a game,
It
as
can.
as
It
I
can.
have done against the Sicilian oh so
Indeed.
many times.
Indeed.
10%. 10%. I did the calculation. 10% win
Dang.
rate. That's not good.
That's not what you want.
No,
No.
no. Everybody's like, oh, it should be about 50. You lose 50, you win 50. I'm like, well,
Right.
then I got to win a whole lot of my white games. So
Fair enough.
I will
Okay.
say this, since I've switched to this for my
Mhm.
black is actually above 50%. And usually my black was my poorer side. So now I'm having to work on my white side because my black side is better relative to my white side. I'm not saying it's good. We're talking relative. So,
Mhm.
all right. So move
Have
five,
you
we
thought
castle.
about
Go ahead.
have you thought about playing the same system with white that you have in front of you with black?
I have, but I fought the urge because I wanted to see different things.
Okay.
So I found a different open. It's still a system, I think. I think it would be classified as system. Um, and it could be used at white and black as well.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
um, I thought I wanted to see different structures to keep learning as quick as I could because I could play King's Indian attack, King's Indian defense, and just be done.
Hmm.
Actually, with white, it's probably better because you're a move ahead, right?
You are a move ahead. Exactly.
Look at that. I know stuff. I just can't do it. Um,
But it's all I'm just curious if
yeah,
like what your
that
thought
was
process is.
philosophical. Oh, so maybe we should talk about why did I choose this? I like the idea of having white's center kind of fixed, and I know what I have to go after because I can kind of pick at the weak spots. And then two, it seems like the theory is very deep for e4, e5, and the
Hmm.
theory is very deep for d4, d5.
Hmm.
And this way, generically, I can play almost the same opening against literally all of them, e4, d4, or virtually anything that people want to play. If they want to play the I think it's the English or the Scotch or I mean not Scotch, the Danish or whatever other type of food that they want to play. Um, and I only have to learn one thing, but I have
Hmm.
multiple responses. And the other thing is they don't know this hopefully as well as I do. So instead of being at their center court, I'm at mine.
Yeah. I love it. I
Okay.
love it.
So we castle. I think we're getting close to the end of my book, which is
Yeah. I was
lovingly
gonna say
called a pamphlet.
the game is gonna start soon.
Yes.
Indeed.
Um, he didn't do anything in this game that made me deviate from my plan, so I just kept my plan.
Okay.
But I think one of the things I learned once I started doing this was don't just blindly, pre-click or pre-move things because they could do something stupid and, that would be great or give you an opportunity that would be great.
Right.
So now they play their dark square bishop to bishop e3. Um, at the time during the game, I was thinking, hey, maybe they're looking to castle queenside going long because now it's one move away from each other. I don't really think that that's a great square for that bishop at this point. Maybe. I don't know.
It seems fine to me. In fact, it makes sense of the move h3 from a move ago, where now that bishop cannot be harassed if with knight g4.
Okay.
Where if he had played bishop e3 first, the knight could jump into g4 and bother it, make it move
Hmm.
again.
Okay.
Um, again, I think it's fine. It's like a very solidifying move. It's just basically asking you the question, like, what are you gonna do? So, um,
So it's like the Twisted Sister video.
I I don't know. I don't know what that
You
is.
don't remember the Twisted Sister? What are you
I
gonna do with your life?
oh
Okay,
boy,
sorry.
it's been too long.
I know.
Um,
We
so
got
I
to get
was
the music reference in when we
I
do
know,
it.
yeah, I was just waiting for it. So I think my question, so like who in this position right here, how would you evaluate it already? I know we're only on move six.
No, that's fine.
Um,
Well, the first thing that when we do these game reviews with Jesse or anybody else from the dojo, it's always like they start talking tempo. So
mhm,
right now, White's got three pieces developed. I have one, two, three pieces developed, but it's my turn, so I'm ahead tempo wise.
sure.
I think Black's ahead center control wise,
Hmm.
but I kind of knew that. That's kind of part of my shtick, I guess.
Right.
It's just going to be that way. I'm feeling good about it because they haven't done anything that I'm just like, no idea what you're doing here, dude. So it's kind of still within my understanding of the opening at this point. So I'm okay tempo wise. I'm okay that I'm behind center wise, and now I'm starting to look at what are my options for trying to break up the center and or attack.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so this is move six. I played my B knight to D7. And I think this is so I did not do any stockfish work as requested. I did not do any analysis as we talked about. So this is merely on my comments in this game are what I was thinking during the game. And
Hmm. Great.
I use a creative acronym called IG for things I thought about in game and PG for things I thought about post game. Call me
Love it.
crazy. So I think this is still a book move. I haven't been able to check it because my hands were tied. What it does is it supports my other knight. I don't know if how they refer to it when the knight on knight violence is amongst your own team, but I'm sure they have a French or an English or Italian word for it that I don't know.
Yeah, they
And
call it a superficial knight if there are two knights fighting for a square.
okay,
I don't think that's what's happening here.
what
I
if
would
they're
say,
what if they're like twinned, like one protects the
yeah,
other?
to me they're connected. I would
Okay,
just call them connected.
okay. So my thought was this defends my knight that's on f6, and it also allows me to push either my c pawn or my e pawn to start breaking up their center.
Hmm.
Um, and otherwise, I guess I could go knight b6 to knight c4 and camp out there. That's almost safe, but they do have their b pawn there at the point. So I don't know.
Okay.
Future drafting prospects.
So I like that you mentioned like strikes in the center with your pawn to e4 or sorry, e5 or c5.
Right.
If it were your turn right now, so you just
Mm-hmm.
got an extra move, would you be considering one of those two moves like as your ideal setup, or would you be thinking of like continuing to maneuver?
So thoughts that I have, like typical, like if we go back one move,
Okay.
th things that I would have as part of the repertoire that I know for this is the bishop to g4, but I can't do that. Okay, so that's out. And then
Hmm.
there's e5 or c5 or sometimes b5 preparing more for I mean, sorry, b6 preparing more
Hmm.
for c5,
Okay.
or you could go vice versa and start going after the knight with like your a pawn or your b pawn. So that's kind of the various. But it looks like to me a pawn move is coming after I play this move
Okay. All right.
because I don't
So
like anywhere my bishop can go, and I would want to my light square bishop. I would want to fianchetto it at this point if I could, likely.
got it. Okay. Now what's the controversy behind playing your pawn to b6 in this position and getting ready to fianchetto?
My pawn to b6. Well, it's not a developing move, and I have just blocked in my light square
Well,
bishop. But
yeah, yeah, I could argue that it is a developing move. It brings the bishop out.
the
Um,
downside to me for b6 here is uh, the knight that they have on C3 is still able to come in. I'm not stopping it. Like if I played my C6 pawn or my A6 pawn, then the knight is kind of stunted. I don't know what the word is for that. It
Okay.
can't come
Hmm.
forward.
Hmm.
So I think that's probably a reason to play C6. If you wanted to play C6, you could play C6, then B5, and then B4 and kick their knight. Um, I don't
Okay.
know otherwise what the controversy would be with B6. So Grand Poobah, what's the controversy for
Uh,
you?
well, yeah, I would say B6 at some point we have to start like paying attention to the color complex of the pawns.
You say that like I need
And
to.
once you play B6, you've
Yes.
given up all the
Like,
light squares on the queen side.
mhm.
So that starts to become a little bit of an issue for me, just
Okay.
on general grounds.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think
I
about
I like
colors
what
yet.
you're saying about. Okay, got it.
I do at the
Yeah,
end game,
and
but I don't now. Like if
got
it's
it.
like if I've got a light square bishop, I want my pawns on
Right.
dark squares, and if they've got a light square bishop, I really want my pawns on dark squares. But that's when I start thinking about it. I don't think about it at this point of the game. Maybe that's one of my future future bill things to worry about.
Yeah, I would say I would say now is a good time to start thinking about everything that you know about endgames, believe it or not. Because
Gonna be a short conversation with myself.
well, but that's okay. I mean, you've already mentioned that you know like color complexes with bishops. So if, for example, you trade off a bishop, you know that you'd prefer to have your pawns on the opposite color. So that's
Yes.
like a good thing to know.
Yes.
It could also lead you towards a middle game decision, like, okay, all my pawns are on dark squares. I would like to trade my dark squared bishop and keep my light squared bishop.
Yes.
So that's like you could think of it as an end game
Or
principle, but it's
or get theirs,
influencing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think we're having a little lag, but it's totally fine. Um, yeah. So I think just keeping it in mind and like you know these principles, you know some of them for sure. Um, you don't need to save them all for later, I would say.
I didn't know they
Um,
applied early, so I wasn't safe. It
yeah.
wasn't like I
Okay.
was conserving my thought processes because
Got it. Yeah, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I would definitely be thinking about that, about my pawns, because like your C6 square, if you played B6 in this position, can you put variations on the board
yeah,
or
yeah.
um
Like you want this
so
from here, or do you want it
yeah,
after their
let's
move?
let's put Queen D2 on. Oh, and you do play B6. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. So that's so funny. That's what I was gonna say. Like if we did do that.
Okay.
So he played Queen D2,
Yes.
and sorry, let's continue because I was gonna
So
put a variation, but you
I
just
can
played it
do
with it.
variations. The only thing I was going to do for the podcast people was they wouldn't have to see my bad typing. So if you do things, I'm going to listen to this again and I'll put them in and then I will post the PGN if anybody wants
Uh-huh.
it with the
Got
others.
it. Cool.
So they played Queen D2. This made me think, uh-oh, they're castling queenside.
Okay.
And with my knowledge at this point, um, I think that would be bad for me because my king is basically a fixed target, and they would be opposite side castling,
Okay.
which typically is if I'm playing this opening, what I would typically would have done if I would have seen that coming is I would have held off on my castling and tried to provoke them to castle kingside by shoving my pawns up the ABC
Mm.
file. But I castled early, and they were. It was a little weird, but it wasn't bad. I just think it was a little weird, so I didn't know. So we're gonna TBD on this what they're doing.
Interesting. Okay. So first of all, it's only Queen D2 is only allowing white to castle long. It's by no means like indicating that they will.
It was just they're ready to if they wanted
Yeah,
to.
they can, right. It's an option now, so we should definitely be aware of it. But I don't think we should be worried, or I definitely don't think we should be worried, period, about long castles if
Hmm.
they decide to do that. We haven't like Black hasn't done anything wrong, so I wouldn't be worried to see long castles. We would be like, okay, well, now what do we do? Like our plans would just become a little more fixed.
Right.
Um, in this case, Queen D2 stands out to me as a move that's not only preparing longside castles potentially, and developing another piece, but it's getting another piece onto the dark squares.
Hmm.
And what this move is telegraphing more strongly to me is white preparing the move bishop to h6 and trying to get rid of the best defender of your king, and trying to trade dark squared bishops.
Oh, so the queen bishop battery.
Exactly,
Okay.
creating a queen bishop battery. So if he's able, he might find it advantageous to get rid of your dark square bishop. Then the dark squares around your king are a little bit weak, and he has moves like knight g5. He has moves like h4, h5. And to your point, at some point, he might say, I'm long castling and I'm going to throw every pawn down the board and checkmate you. So I would start to be alert about my king's safety, just like you kind of were, but for a different reason. I think
Mhm.
the trade of that bishop might be scaring me slightly.
Okay. All right. So I ignored everything you've told me on this podcast because that's how I roll. I played my b6, not caring about the light squares because I honestly I was looking at it saying, do I want a fianchetto on my bishop? Do I want to like one thing that I've done here is I've played pawn a5 and then put my bishop behind it
Uh-huh.
and then kind of torment their light square bishop and or their ability to castle kingside.
Yeah.
It's just something I think about, but I don't really know that I took into account any color complexes at this point in the game, like we've said like over
Hmm.
and over. I was here preparing for c5.
Yeah, got it. So, okay, your aim is C5. That makes sense. So you're trying to support that. Um, and if he prevents it, were you thinking about that? Like if he plays five here?
If he played d5, uh, I would probably have been okay with it but then I probably would have switched to my e pawn.
Ah, okay. So you'd play E5.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
or e4 6, either one.
Hmm. Okay.
I don't know. I was not prepared for this quiz.
Uh, no quiz. I'm only trying to get inside your mind
Dude,
to think
you
along
are
with you.
you are a very, very brave soul.
Okay, so B6, I definitely like understand the plus side to this move.
Okay.
Um, you're opening an avenue for your bishop. I uh, in this position before you play B6, I'm actually getting a little claustrophobic with black. And I think it's because of the things that you've mentioned and that we've talked about. Like my king is already committed.
Yep.
He has a lot of things pointing at it,
Hmm.
and I'm not challenging his center at all.
No, that's
So
about to happen. That has
it's
not
about to
happened.
happen, but it has not yet.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get scared that like we're going to spend another tempo to challenge the center when my king might be dead sooner than I would like. So that's why
So
B6 is seeming a little slow to me.
so one thing that is another option that I have is c6 followed by b5, b4.
Yeah.
But I was thinking if I wanted to play c6, I mean c5, but I wasn't sure that it was safe enough to do, so that was why I did the b6 move.
Got it. B6 felt safer.
B6 felt safer for my c5 push than if I did
Right.
c5 right, well, right here. Because if I did this, right, c5 for my seventh move, this didn't
Mhm.
feel like it was great for me because I can't take back because that would be bad. Meaning,
Um,
meaning that the like my knight, if it's taken here, if the bishop takes my pawn at the end,
yeah.
I'm not liking where I'm at
How come?
because I don't think I want to trade. I don't think I want to trade off my. I'd like to trade my knight for their bishop, but I don't want to trade off my
Okay.
queen. I don't
Keep
think.
going.
I mean, this isn't
All right,
terrible for me. It's just not what I wanted to do.
let's count the pieces real quick, just so that we're all on the same page.
I'm up a bishop to a pawn, so
Yeah.
so
So
I
are
guess
you
I did.
happier about it?
I guess I did want to do.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're happier about it now,
It
talking
feels better
through
now.
it. Okay, so we weren't worried about this variation in that case. So
No,
this is a perfect example of analysis
worrying,
being
not
different.
analyzing,
Yeah,
calculating.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I think being worried, first of all, I know the pain of worrying about things.
Right.
And having those things not really be something to worry about. This is definitely one of those
Yeah,
cases.
scared of ghosts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say if our goal was to play C5, we would just need to be a little more sure of our calculation, which is
Okay.
great. Like that's a really good thing to realize because all that means is we need to do a couple more puzzles and then we're
Yeah,
in a good
just one
spot.
or two. I'll be good after that.
Like honestly, it's a simple it's simple once you know like what the issue is. So anyway, I would feel really good about that to be like, oh, white loses a piece in this variation, but we didn't. We were just worried instead of like being really
Sure.
authoritative calculators.
Okay. So that would be
So
something that you would do before you moved. You would do that in your head.
yeah, so exactly. So before I play B6, and let's maybe put that position back on if we could
There we go.
after bishop D2. If we're thinking, okay, I want to play C5,
Okay.
can I?
So in your head,
Uh,
you would do what we just did.
in
Just
my head, I would say C5, he can trade ones. So then I would go takes in my head.
okay.
And then I would stop right here and I would say, okay, the bishop attacks the pawn, but my knight defends the pawn.
Yes.
Then I would ask, okay, but wait, is my queen pinned? Like, is that knight queen pinned and my queen is unprotected? And then I would say, no, no, no. If the bishop takes, my knight can take, and if queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and I'm up a bishop.
Right.
So then I would say, okay, so I can do this, and what
So
I've done
likely he's not
is
going to take with the bishop here. So
right, exactly. If he does, thank the Lord, and we're up a piece, and we go on to win. But if he just plays another normal move, then we can just reply with any move ourselves. Like if he plays this, we can play a6 and just say, "What are you doing, buddy?" Um, and if he takes, we can take back with the knight, and more of our pieces are developed. He's still not threatening to take the pawn. Our bishop is now alive. Now, if we take with the bishop there, we're going to blunder the c5 pawn. Um,
oh
so
yeah.
in all these variations, he could snatch on c5. So that's why I was taking with the knight in reverse, just to
Right.
keep that pawn protected.
Okay.
And then I would say like, okay, I have two bishops. I have a pawn towards the middle. My bishop on g7 is really good. And I can move my queen around and develop my rooks, and it's probably about equal or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, to the point where we were talking about, like, I would definitely see if I needed to prepare the move or if I was seeing ghosts. And in this
Okay.
case, probably we were just seeing some ghosts.
So I guess part of it, maybe this is an issue that I need to figure out. Part of the reason that I stopped and said I needed to have B6 as a preparatory move was obviously I could play C5 in my head, no big deal. I could obviously play they take D takes C5, I take D takes C5.
Hmm.
But then things started getting, well, they could take with the bishop or they could take with it started getting
Mm.
complicated and I started
Hmm.
overthinking it and getting lost with ghost pieces in my mental.
For sure.
So that was where I started having problems going further in my calculation.
Yeah, great. And sometimes you'll miss something and it'll
Yes.
really sting, and you'll be
All
like,
all the time, I would say. Let me recalibrate that. That is all the time I miss something. It's like, oh, this is great. Oh, they just took my queen.
right, exactly. So then it just becomes a matter of like keeping your eye on all the pieces and not dropping your queen at some point.
Yeah, don't do that. It's
Yeah,
generally bad.
it's bad for your health. Yeah, I think in this case it's a matter of you're probably overcomplicating it.
Hmm.
So like if we were to just
Like when it goes
say,
non-forcing moves, that's when my brain starts to, sprout out like 15 different possibilities, and then it starts getting hard, and my brain starts going, you know, you don't know what you're doing, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I know.
And honestly, those are the positions that we shouldn't be worried about. The positions where there's not a lot of forcing moves going on. That's when the chess principles should be guiding you most of all.
Mm-hmm.
Less so like hard calculation because nobody's good at calculating a position where nothing is forced for a while. Like it's way too much. So people are following their instincts. Like even Magnus, if there's no forcing line, he's gonna just be like, okay, well the dark square is a weak. Okay, I should develop. Okay, like it's not gonna be like, well, if I do this and then he does this, it's gonna be a lot more conceptual.
Right.
So if you start to find yourself in a place where you're no longer looking at forcing moves,
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, this is a good place to stop my calculation. What do I think about this line? And
Right.
I would say, before we played the move C5 here, I would say that the first forcing move is what if he takes the pawn? And
Mm-hmm.
then the only forcing move really after that is what if he takes again with the bishop?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two forcing moves. And then once you have both of those in your head, then you can say, okay, does he have any more forcing moves? And
Right.
then you could say, no, he doesn't really. He can't
Yeah.
move the C knight because
So
the E pawn is hanging and so on.
so I stopped right here, and that was why I
Hmm.
said I think I need the
Okay,
B pawn.
got it. You let him blunder a piece in your calculation, and
Well,
then you
I'm a
you
giver.
cho
I'm a giver, you know.
I get.
I like to help people. I like to, you know, have a podcast where I can show you that no, you aren't bad at chess. I'm bad at chess.
So I've done this before too. Um, so definitely don't beat yourself up. I would just say just take a little more practice on this type of thing.
Like go
Like if
one
I were
more
to
step.
show, yeah, one more step. If I were to show you the position one move ago before bishop takes c5,
Okay.
and this were the puzzle, and I would say, Bill, what would happen if white takes the pawn on c5? And I would give you like 3 minutes
Yes.
to think about it. I know that you would be like, oh, well, I can take back. I
Right.
can take that bishop. So there's just that little piece of going for instead of calculating one move ahead, it's calculating two moves ahead.
Yes.
That's all it is. So it's a muscle. It's just like how many push-ups can you do? Oh, I can do 3 push-ups today. Well, I need you to do 4 push-ups tomorrow.
Yeah.
We just have to keep working on it.
I just need a sign to pop up on the board, like when a flag comes popping up and says,
Yeah,
"This is a puzzle," and then I'd be good.
totally. Yeah, yeah. Did you mark down how long you took on the
Not
move
on this one, no.
B6?
Not
Okay.
on this one.
So I
I did.
would
I did go to where we got here, where the bishop takes at the end, and I stopped because I was like, I can take it, but then I lose my queen, and I wasn't sure. This was actually my calculation in my head, which had nothing to do with moves. I was thinking, yes, I could take the bishop, and then
Mhm.
he would take my queen, and I could take the queen back. But I was thinking, I'm so far ahead back here, back before we do this, that if I
Mhm.
prepare for b6, then I take losing my queen off the table, and I can still do what I want to do, which is tear apart their center. And that was why I went with that, because I was
Okay.
thinking I was ahead,
Mm.
whether Stockfish thinks I'm ahead or not, but I'm ahead of my plan. Like they're doing nothing that affects my plan.
Mm.
The biggest concern I have is the bishop going to h6 and messing with my bishop, but I really don't care because
Okay.
he goes to h6, the bishops stare at each other. If I'm not going to take his because I'm not going to let his queen get in. If he takes my bishop, I take it back, and then the queen can't get in. So I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I've gotten beaten up with that enough. I don't fear that one, but I
Uh-huh.
wanted, since my position looked in my quote unquote good to me, I wasn't going to give up my queen because I'm good and I wanted my queen if I'm good.
Okay.
Like if their queen was threatening me, then I would have been like, yes, I want your queen off the board because it's a problem. But their queen right now is looking at two pieces.
Right. Okay. So we have different evaluations then. So I
Well,
think
yes, mine is wrong and yours is right.
no. I mean, I appreciate everything you said, especially how you feel about the position, which is like an important factor, which is like you're comfortable in this position.
Yeah.
I think
I'm used
it's
to being confined too. Like you were saying,
yeah.
you felt squeezed. I'm used to it because I've played this
Right.
enough, and this is kind of like this is normal.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's normal. It's all very playable. Black is worse here.
Yes.
Not you're not lost, but you're worse. So you have less space, and
Can I
that
check? Can I check? Can I check?
can you
I just
check
click.
the eval?
Just click right.
Almost.
Damn it.
I would probably say like I would guess like I don't know, like a point 0.8 maybe.
I was thinking point 0.4.
Okay, maybe. I mean,
I don't
look,
know.
I'm not
My
100.
sensei has not allowed me to push this one little button right here.
It's a scary button to be hovering right there,
It
honestly.
is so
Um,
so tempting.
yeah, so I would say black is worse and still trying to equalize.
Yes, that I agree
And
with.
okay, cool. So then that's why I'm looking at moves like we got to play C5 soon, or we got to play E5 to get like one of our dogs in the fight.
Hmm.
Because if I would say time is not on our side. If white is given endless time, he will checkmate us. He'll trade bishops, he'll push the H file open, he will bring the queen and knight in, and we'll get mated. And it'll be very sad, and it's just going to happen. We don't have a similar type of threat that's like ready-made here. With black, we're trying to like grasp onto something. Um, so I would say like it's that reason more so than anything that I'm like, okay, we need to find a way to get our involvement in the game at this point. So anyway,
Okay.
that's my opinion on it.
No,
If you want to look at the fish eval, let's do it just for fun. Is it going to
let's
show us lines or just an evaluation?
both.
All right, let's see an evaluation.
White's up 0.05.
Oh, 5 at depth 11, so I'm not
No,
really
that's
trusting
depth
that.
119. It's the
Uh, it,
cloud depth.
Oh, cloud depth of 119. Okay, I see.
Because obviously I know what my 119th move would be from here.
Yeah, I don't trust it at all. And this is a great example of that.
This is
So
why we're doing this episode.
so okay, let's also acknowledge and yeah, this is why we're doing this episode. I do like that. So what it's sharing with us after being left on basically, and somebody walks away and analyzes and stores 119 moves.
Or literally has
um
no life, right?
yeah, right.
They
Is
sat there
that
and watching 118.
uh-huh.
I'm not leaving until 119 because I need to
Exactly.
know. I need to know what the answer is.
So C5 is the only move is what it's
Well,
telling us by a
well,
half a pawn.
it says C5. At lower depth, it's saying C5 is 0.49 and C6 is 0.54 and E5 is
Oh, I
0.6.
see okay, so hang on. The cloud is only showing us the quote
One
unquote
line.
best line.
Yeah. And then these are like the live at depth 18 right now because I'm, streaming
Yeah,
and, we're
right,
doing a
right.
Zoom and all that
Yeah,
craziness.
any kind of browser using Stockfish also is not
Takes
to be
forever.
trusted. So okay, so I would suggest that
It says
I
C5 or
understand now.
C6, really. It doesn't like B6 though, apparently. Well, let's see if it likes B6. Let's see. B6.
Yeah, I
No, it kind of hates that.
yeah. So okay, let's switch it off. I think
Enough of you,
there's
browser.
there's
There's usage, but not blind faith.
so first of all, I would say that this is not a good position to use an engine in general,
Right.
only because first of all, if we're going to use an engine, we have to use like a proper engine that has, some threading to it. Um, in this case, it's like, okay, whatever browser engine and cloud is showing us that you can get an equal position if you play perfectly, starting with striking the center immediately,
Right.
which is why I'm very cautious to believe that it's truly equal because it's kind of exclaiming that it's a little bit desperate already.
Well,
Like,
it's assuming that I do 118
yeah,
good moves, which
right.
I'm not bragging, but I don't know. 118 good moves. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure I can pull that off.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is the engine will defend perfectly.
Yes.
And humans are really bad at defending, like everybody.
Yep.
So So if everybody's bad at defending, especially me and you, then that 0.05 is a lot more like plus one,
Yeah.
because we're going to lose a pawn because we can't defend perfectly.
Yeah. Well,
We
it's
don't.
saying it's 1.6 if I play the move that I played. So
Yeah, B6, exactly right. B6, I think is kind of missing the point, especially if the idea is C5. B6 just is a little
so using the
off track.
glyphs, would that be a mistake or a blunder?
I would go one question mark for
Okay.
sure. It's not a two question
It's
mark
in between,
blunder.
right? It's
No, 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 no. It's just one.
okay.
And you could even make an argument that it's like a funky,
A
like a question mark
dubious?
exclamation. Yeah, like it's pretty dubious. To me, it's like between dubious and a straight up mistake. I
Okay.
would say that it's a mistake.
Okay. I
Um,
usually do my double is anything over 2 pawns, and my single is anything under 1 pawn. And
oh, interesting. I would say my doubles are usually like blunders of material,
oh, okay.
and my singles are more like positional mistakes.
Okay.
But anyway, it really depends.
Yeah. I
Uh,
do know that my question mark key on my keyboard is you know polished off. It doesn't really say what it is
it does
anymore.
say it gets stuck every once in a while.
No, it just it's rubbed clean. I don't know.
That's funny.
Maybe that's an indicator of my prior
That's
past
good.
performance, right?
All right. So we've beaten this one to death a little bit.
I mean,
Okay,
we're on move 8
B6.
after 40 minutes. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you've never analyzed me before. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
All right, so
Um,
then they played BH6. This is actually
yep,
what happened,
yep,
which you were worried about,
yep.
and I wasn't.
Yeah, you're saying I'd prefer not,
I'd really rather you didn't, but it's okay.
but you don't mind it. Okay.
No,
You
no.
can't capture and then yeah, lose. Okay.
I mean, we lose dark square bishops, and their
Yeah.
queen battery is no longer a battery. It's like triple A battery at best because there's
Uh-huh.
nothing else there.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, bad would be to protect my bishop, I guess, because then my rook. And so the thoughts I had at this point were, do I want to move my rook over,
Right.
or do I want to do something else that's developing? So
Right.
I thought since this wasn't a developing move, this was kind of a free move for me. So I either develop my rook or develop my bishop.
Okay. All right, great. So let's just pause right there. White is done developing, and you're not done developing yet. So you're right. He didn't develop. Like this is not a developing move. He's already moved the bishop, and then he moved the queen, and then he moved the bishop again.
Right.
But now White's attacking you. So we have to switch our mindset from kind of this like, oh, my opening principles,
Mm-hmm.
which you're really good in. You've like well versed in like
That's why my
following
forehead's
them.
my forehead's flat from Jesse
Uh-huh.
beating me.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you learn them really well, but now is like, okay, actually, buddy, we're under attack. Like, sound the alarm. This bishop has nestled itself into a weak square in our territory, and
Mm-hmm.
it's protected, and it's
Mm-hmm.
right next to my king. So, like, to me, we should switch our mentality from like, okay, things are going great to like, okay, we need to defend this position now. So that's probably once again just a different mindset.
Okay.
Uh, no longer should White worry about developing; he's going to worry about mating you. So, for example, another move that I'm very interested in for White is the pawn that's already moved on h3, moving it again to h4, and then moving it again to h5, just opening up the king side. Again, you could say, yeah, but those aren't developing moves. Plus, you already moved that pawn. It's like, yeah, dude, it's kind of we're in a different ball game right now. So
Okay.
anyway, all just kind of commentary. So bishop h6, you're not too worried about losing the bishop.
No.
Let's
See,
see how you react.
I'm not worried about the bishop, and I'm thinking, okay, now I think I'm ahead in development because I don't. His king's still in the middle, so to me, I'm winning the development battle.
Uh-huh.
And my thought is, okay, this is a bishop trade. Okay, don't care really. I don't. I probably
Yeah,
should, but I don't. And I'm thinking, how do I rip open the center?
great. Let's
So
rip open the center.
so naturally, I don't.
You know. All right. You've got the right mindset, though.
But I
Let's
was
rip
thinking
over
about
the.
it.
Okay, great.
So
We'll do it later, but
yeah,
we
we're
want to do
getting.
it.
I like prepping. I don't know. I'm really prepared to move
Yeah,
this
you're. This
move
is
this pawn.
this is mise en place if
Yeah,
I've ever seen it.
I got all my celery in nice little pieces. It's great.
Exactly. It's
That's
ready.
right. That's right. Yep. Never thought we'd be quoting Food Network when going
Some
over it.
more?
What's that? So
Uh,
at
just
the time, and maybe this is me justifying my move. I'm thinking if I can start shoving my pawns up the ABC rank, maybe I can induce him to go kingside, which is what I want
Mhm.
with his castling. Because I'm thinking his king's in the middle. If I can do something quick, I got a chance at it. And I'm looking at that pawn, thinking I can take that pawn, that central pawn, and start to open up the center.
Okay.
I probably could have done it another way too, but
Uh, so far, it makes sense. Let's see what happened.
okay. So he takes my bishop and I take back. So
Great.
this is kind of what I was thinking, and this stops the queen. So I'm not terribly worried about the queen. I'm actually a little more worried about the knight, but the knight doesn't really bother me at this point.
Okay.
So bishop takes bishop. My king takes their bishop, and now we're playing move 10, which is bishop d3. So they're light squared bishop going to, honestly, I don't really know why they went to that square. You know,
Uh, Defending the pawn?
maybe. Yeah,
Well, yeah, you were ready to take it.
I
So,
was. I'm always ready to take pawns. I like pawns,
yeah,
especially free ones. They're tasty.
exactly.
Yes.
So that makes sense. He's developing and protecting his weakness.
And now he can castle both ways. So I'm kind of
Uh,
puzzled.
Yep. Yep.
So basically, I in my notes I say that pawn's now protected, so it's safe two versus two. I always count
Hmm.
in my head because it doesn't make sense at the table to take your shoes off, and so it's safe. So I do want to still break open the center, and I really want to try to do this quickly because their king is still in the middle, and that to me is, if I left my king in the middle to this point in the game, I'd be worried.
Hmm. Sure.
So I play e5 here because I prepared for c5, so I play
Right.
e5 because that's how I roll.
That's right.
And then so that's pushing on his dark squared pawn in the center, the d4 pawn, and he decides to take d takes e5, and I take back d takes e5.
Okay.
So it trades, but it opens up the center.
Hmm.
If they choose to take with their knight, that's okay with me because I can take back.
Hmm.
I don't think they should.
Hmm.
And to be honest, in game, I was actually more worried about that because I was fearing and not calculating. I was fearing if they played, let's just play it out on the board. If they played
Hmm.
knight takes e5, I played knight takes e5. So it's just a knight trade on top of
Hmm.
what we've done. I was concerned about some type of discovered attack issue with my queen.
Hmm.
Um, Although it doesn't appear at first glance to be, because this is a light square bishop and my king's on the dark squares. Like that would be
Right.
a big concern if it was sitting there instead. So
Sure. And yeah, I would agree. Also, first of all, you've won a night already, which we're
yes,
glossing over, but that's fine for the demonstration. Your queen is also protected on its home square by
yes,
both rooks.
hmm
So even if there was some tremendous discovered check like attack,
yes,
there isn't much he could do because your queen is protected. So if he
right,
could move the bishop with tempo, and then we had to do something else, and he took your queen, you can still take back.
right.
You do seem queen trade averse to me. Like,
I like my queen, but I'm getting better at it. I
uh-huh.
don't like giving up material.
But if
If you
you
said,
get
Bill, what are you good at? It would take a lot of numbers before I got down to sacrificing pieces.
okay, but trading queens, what do you think
Trading
of
queens
that?
is okay.
Okay, and in this case, it would be a trade, right? If
Yes.
he, okay,
Yes. I guess the thought is not so queen averse as fearful of discovered attacks.
oh, okay, great.
Um, so And that's just due to I know what I've screwed up in the past, and there's like that the calluses or the pain points are still there. So um, I don't want to
Yeah.
fall for those.
Yeah, for sure. And to me, what that means is great. We've diagnosed uh another pain point where we'd want to go through more discovered
Yes.
attacks to
Yes.
find out the times that they work and that the times that they are nothing to worry about.
Yes.
If we're still a little paranoid about them. But anyway,
Me? Never. Not
so
paranoid at all.
good job. You struck in the center, and now black has equalized with the pawn count in the center. We finally have a pawn occupying the center. That's good. Um, and I would say, despite his king being in the center, he's not that worried about it. He can castle either side, this move or next move. There's still kind of no rush.
Okay.
So I'd say black has equalized potentially.
Hmm.
Um,
Or closer, right?
yeah, definitely. I see kind of no problem with black's position anymore.
Okay.
I'd be feeling much better than I was a few moves ago. So, all right, let's.
You just didn't have faith in me, man. Which, I mean, let's be real. Justified.
Well, let's see what happens from here because it's still early days. Okay, castle's short.
Castle short. I think that was better for me. And one of the things I put as my notes was I wanted to check after I'm allowed to go see if castling long was better for them there.
Uh, cool. So my suggestion is that that's um
I don't think it's bad. I think the other might have been better.
to me it's not an engine question.
Okay.
Because it's more of a concept. So we have this game, the way it played out, he castled short, we castled short, and something's gonna happen, it's gonna play out a certain way.
Hmm.
The alternative, which is castling long, like
Right.
I'll pose it as a question to you. Why would white choose to castle long here?
So this was my thinking. I'm just going to put it on the board.
Hmm.
So he castles long, and
Yeah.
now this is a battery, which is kind of nice.
Hmm.
And then this can start to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So to put it to words,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, people under driving. The rook on the H file for white can now stay there, and
right,
perhaps they could stack the rooks or push the pawn down
right.
the H file, and I didn't want to see that. So that's why I
Yeah.
was thinking long castle is better for white.
Okay, perfect. So white would castle long in order to attack you, like more
Yes.
directly.
Yes.
So so that's how I'd be thinking about it. The computer will obviously always give you the right answer, but I would recommend not just like flipping it on and being like, "Oh, you see, long castles is not good here."
Hmm.
Let's just pretend that it was worse for some reason. I'm with you. I kind of think it might have been better, or at
Well, I was
least
just
it's
thinking that
more.
the by castling short, his rook's going the wrong way. Like it's kind of going
uh,
away from my king, you know?
Yeah, I do know. But there's certainly nothing wrong with it.
No, it's not bad. I just think the other was better.
Yeah, and you very well might be right, but again, it's a conceptual thing. So like
Yes.
what I would be thinking about
So
and
it's not
do
an
as
engine
an
number thing. It's a
yeah, I
concept.
mean, like here's the thing. By turning on the engine at that position, you'll get an answer,
Okay.
but then it won't help you. That answer won't help you at all.
I am 100% on board with that because
Yeah,
I
so
often sit there and say, why is that better?
exactly, right. So like you'll
Like
learn
it'll
that it
say
was,
A3 here, and I'll be like, what?
exactly. Um, I think it's just not the right time to be looking for quote unquote like the truth.
Okay.
I think if you wanted to, as an exercise, set up the position where white castles long
Hmm.
and play it out from there, either
Okay.
against a person or against an engine or against me, and
It's almost the same thing, honestly.
we'll see like what happens, and you'll just get a sense of like, okay, well, what white is going to do is this, and what I'm going to do is this, and like can black defend? So it's
Hmm.
just it becomes like an exercise more than just a
Okay.
clicking a button. Anyway,
Okay.
just my 2 cents there.
Yeah, no worries.
So okay, so he castles short to get to kind of a symmetrical-ish position with kind of nothing going on.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's good for me.
Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
what do we do?
so we, naturally, since I'm trying to break open the middle, I don't. Um, I play Queen E7. And
Okay.
I'm thinking get my rooks connected
Hmm.
and start to look for things to do on the king side because I'm looking at their board right now. And if you break the board in half, and I'm not sure this is the right way to do it, if you break the board in half vertically, their queen, their bishop, their knight, and their rook are on what I would say the wrong side of the board. And
Okay.
they've only got their knight, which is quite good on f3, and their rook, which is terrible on f1. And I've got pieces aligned equivalently, but my queen's looking to go in this direction. My knight's looking to go in the direction of the king. My bishop is it's on the wrong side of the board, but it's looking the right way. And now my rook can start to come over. So I'm thinking about, something along the lines of move my knight, let's say knight f6 to knight h5, then play pawn f5. And now my rook can start to go up and over for a rook lift, and my queen can come over, and then I can start to squeeze on their king a little bit.
Okay. Cool. All very ambitious.
I'm a dreamer.
You are a dreamer. But I like that. So
It's
all
better
of
to have
that,
a plan.
yeah, I'm totally with you. In this position, whose king is safer?
His.
And why would you say?
Well, he's got no risk of back rank. My king is kind of off. Oh, I'm probably gonna just you're gonna get like queasy at one of my moves coming up, um, but I think it's a good move. But we'll see.
Okay.
His king is kind of safer. I really don't have a good diagonal to get to him. I mean, he's got a little bit of dark square weakness on H2, but it's kind of hard to get to right now.
Uh-huh.
He's got a knight where you want it. That little uh, I'm sorry, F3 or F6 knight is always a really good protector. So in my mind, his king is safer than mine because mine's open technically on two different diagonals, on both on dark squares. And
Yeah.
the only thing I do like about mine is that it's off the back rank, and I can start to think about do I want to go down rooks through the H rank and
Sure.
start pushing. So um,
I
to me,
agree. I agree. I think your king is a little weaker, which is why when you said the move your knight and then push pawn on f7 to f5,
I
I
know.
did get a little queasy
Well,
because that
don't worry,
looks
there's worse coming, buddy.
it looks like it sounds to me like White slipped you $100 bill under the table and was like, "Hey, play knight h5 and f5 for me," and
Yeah,
you were like,
please do
"Okay,
that.
I'll do that."
Yeah,
That looks very suicidal.
thank you.
Um,
I'm here for you. You
um,
said it'd be a game that was going to entertain you.
it's good. I'm very intrigued. I'm totally fascinated by this game. So, to me, I'm thinking more about the center at this point. So,
Still,
like
okay.
the D&E files with my rooks.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking still about the pawn on E4 for you to potentially target, which it looks like it's very secure at this point, which it is. But you have a knight C5 maybe one day. You have some decent pressure. So I think that black is doing fine.
Yes.
Um, I would struggle to justify like a brazen attack on the king side because his king looks very safe to me.
It wasn't a now thing. It was a future draft
Sure,
picks.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. But just kind of thinking out loud.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm worried about is this D5 square
Okay.
for the white pieces. So a knight arriving on D5 is something that I would really not like to see.
I would just trade it, wouldn't I?
Yeah, so at the moment you're covering that square twice, so he couldn't jump his knight in there without losing a pawn.
Right.
But if you were to, let's say, play knight h5 on this move,
Yes.
then he would be able to jump in, and then it's like, do you want to give up your bishop for that knight? I don't think
Right.
so,
Yeah.
because then you would open up his bishop, and your queen is on the e file, and he can put a rook on. It's like that doesn't look good to me.
Okay.
So something to be cautious about. Your knight on f6 kind of has an important job to do.
Hmm.
But okay, anyway, so that's where my mind is at, just to keep you along with me.
Okay.
So how do we continue?
So he plays knight g5, which is it looks scary, but I didn't think it was really scary because I mean,
Okay, what do
what's he
you
gonna do?
What do you think the idea
What
is?
are you going to do there, buddy? No, because I mean, he's not going to take my H7 pawn. He's not going to
Right.
take my F7 pawn. He can't go to E6. He
Yeah.
literally can't go to E4.
Right.
And he literally can't go to H3.
Right.
So you're just going to go back.
Right. So if White had an extra move, what could he do? If it was White's turn here.
But it's not.
But it's not. I know it's not. But let's just try to make sense of the move rather than just say that it's literally a waste of
What
time.
would he do? I mean, it prepares for his F pawn to push.
That's the first thing I thought of. Like, okay, he's allowing the pawn to push to f4. I don't know if it's a good move,
Yeah,
but what it starts to do is highlight the fact that your f6 square is very weak because you've moved your g pawn. So that
right.
knight, despite it being protected by a knight and a queen and a king, that knight is not protected by a pawn. So there is some fragility on the f file.
So it's
So
Italian. Fragile.
so I agree. I think knight g5 is kind of pointless here and almost helps you.
I know. Because guess what I
But
get to do?
yeah, I have a feeling.
H6,
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly. There you go. So you take some more control. But you're maybe like a move away from being scared. So just something to be cautious about. Okay, so I
I
guess
got
he goes back, or does
I got
he?
news for you, buddy. I am not scared. I am far from scared right now. I am
Okay.
feeling good.
You
Feeling good.
did just you just gain a nice tempo there.
Exactly. So he goes back to where he was.
All right.
I really didn't
Okay.
think anything
So
else for him to
not a
do,
good move.
you know?
Yeah.
So now hey, let's start really opening things up.
Okay.
So I play
I like
knight
it.
to C5,
Mm-hmm.
pressuring his light square bishop, which I would like to see go away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always of the plan of I will trade my knight for your bishop almost any time. Just ask. I'm good with it, especially with the center starting to open up.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was it was preparing for one of my rooks to go to the D file, which would have made a
Mm-hmm.
skewer onto their queen, which I tend to like and think it's good.
Yeah. Really good.
So he plays inexplicably to me rook f to e1.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he's trying to protect his pawn.
Yeah, two things I would say. One is to reinforce the pawn, which is now under even more fire by
Yeah.
both knights and bishop.
Hmm.
Second is to put it opposite your queen.
Right.
So if you were to remove the e pawn for a
Remove both
moment,
pawns. Yeah. Doink, doink.
yeah, or even just the white pawn, then
Yeah.
he has pressure on your center.
Yes.
So
Okay.
rook to e1 makes a lot of sense to me.
All right. Doesn't to me, but that's okay. I don't usually
Mm.
play the white side. Let me tell
Mm,
you, whatever how bad my elo is when I'm playing my side, it's worse when I'm playing the other side.
mm.
So it's
All
definitely not an
right.
even game. Okay, so I
So like
play.
for example, let's
Yes.
just to in this position.
Okay.
Well, okay, rook a to d8. Play your move, rook a d8. Oh, we're gonna see this. Never mind. So good. Rook a d8.
Okay.
Great move. And
Rook
now he
a8.
plays knight d5. Yeah,
Now he
exactly.
plays knight d5, which kind of shoves his knight into the middle.
Right.
Um, I
The-
think it's fairly easy that I need to trade off my knight here.
Okay.
Um, because it to me, I'm going to end up a pawn.
Right. And but this is highlighting the e pawn, your
Yes.
weakness on the e file.
Yes, it's not helping me there. So if knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, rook takes
Yep.
pawn, and protects my e pawn.
Yeah. So far, so good.
So queen c3, which
Okay.
pins my pawn.
Right. Attacks it again.
Yes. So now I can't move my pawn because I really wanted to play the pawn to e4 and fork.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate when the other player plays well. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
so then I played f6, which protected my pawn, really blunted their diagonal for the queen,
Okay.
and solidified my center a bit.
Okay. Oh, why didn't he play bishop c4 here?
I
You
didn't
played
ask.
bishop e4.
Yes, he played e4, which I thought was worse.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No.
That's oh boy. All right. So this is the first really bad move
So you want to go back and
for
play as if they did play c4?
yeah, bishop c4 is the only move.
I didn't think
Um
about it in game, so I haven't looked at it. It did feel like e4 was worse.
yeah, it allows you to just snap it off. I assume you took it, right?
Yeah, I take
Yeah,
knight.
you took the yeah. You already admitted that you'll take a bishop. You don't have
Yeah,
to ask you twice. So
not too often. I mean, I'm in.
um all
Uh,
right.
so if
So
he played c4,
yeah,
I
c4
did
looks
look at this, but I didn't.
it looks very, very irritating.
Couldn't
Because
couldn't I do
number
something like this or no?
well, he's attacking the rook. Do you want to give him the
No, I
rook?
don't. Well, no, I don't.
Yeah. So that's the first thing to acknowledge is he has a tempo here,
Right.
and your rook needs to probably move.
And it can't go here, here,
Yeah,
here, here.
you can't enter, so you'll have to
I'm
retreat.
I'm going back this way.
So that's already annoying. Um, and the second part that annoys me even more is that his light squared bishop lives.
Yeah.
That I'm not happy about because look at the light squares around my king now. Now we can start talking about like a truly weak king on G7.
See, I was
Ooh,
happy with my three pawns right across. I thought that was good.
I hear you and I understand you. The farther those three pawns
Oh
keep
yeah,
going
I
up the
didn't want to
board,
go further. I wasn't trying for
it's
the fifth rank there.
yeah, you're starting to get very spicy around here.
Yeah. There's
Especially
like
with a queen bearing down on you. Like I'm very scared here.
there's that
Um,
Deep Purple backdoor song. Yeah.
oh gosh. Um, ooh, okay. I'm already starting to think about sacrifices. I'm sure they're unnecessary. But so let's say your rook moves back to E7 or D7, sorry.
Yeah, probably.
And he plays knight takes E5 and then rook takes E5. No, it doesn't work because queen to F6. So I'm just thinking out loud. You can block the discovered attack. So this is no good at all.
It's not terrible.
But
Right.
it's yeah, very yeah, winning for black. So anyway, it's starting to look shaky, but that particular variation is terrible.
Okay.
So all right. Um okay, bishop e4 is a double question mark as
Double?
far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a
Double.
really bad move.
Okay.
Because of if does it not lose material on the spot?
Yes.
Okay. So rook e4 and you play rook c5,
Yep.
rook c4.
Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't lose material on the spot.
I didn't see
You're
how it would, but yeah.
okay, you're right. I was worried that that discovered attack, the bishop attack into e4 square,
Hmm.
was going to win material. But yeah, rook c5 isn't it? Could we go back to
Yep.
your after rook takes e4? Yeah, here. Um, yeah, instead of rook c5, is there some mm, is there something fancy? I don't think so.
I'm not a fancy kind of guy.
Mm. Yeah, because you can play check,
Can I though?
but there's no point. Not only can he just take it and it's a trade, but he could retreat the rook too.
Because if
So that
I looked at this
yeah,
and then that and then that,
yeah,
but this was hanging out and it's probably
yeah.
going to have to go back here.
It's just a trade.
Yeah.
So not better. Okay, so it's not as horrible as I thought, bishop e4, but it's still really terrible. All right, so rook c5 is what my mind said right away.
Okay.
Um, so far so good.
Okay. Then they played rook
Rook
c4.
c4 only move, and then rook d8. I like it in on general grounds, of course. However, this is the point where I'm starting to think about cashing in.
See,
Uh,
I'm not a big cash in guy.
okay.
I keep rolling the slot, let it ride.
So one way you could cash in instead of rook f8 is capturing the knight on f3.
Sorry, it's just getting dark in here.
Oh, good, oh, good.
My camera started thinking I was much more tan than I really am.
Yeah, you've left the building.
I have left the building.
So either rook takes rook or bishop takes knight in this position, rather instead of rook d8, would have given you something, which is doubling white's pawns.
Rook
Um,
takes rook would double their pawns?
so on rook c, instead of rook d8, if you go rook takes rook here, queen takes, and then bishop takes f3.
Oh, doubling over there. Okay.
So
I was thinking.
now, yeah. So now his king side is ruined, and
Now I
now you
win.
can play. Now you can play rook d8, and with perfect play, you have an advantage.
Yes.
I would say this is probably what I would have gone for because it's at least something. Um, but it also does get rid of your nice bishop. So it's not like 100%. It's not a slam dunk or
Okay.
something. So okay. Anyway, rook d8.
I did rook d8, just, kind of
So you're
scouting around.
allowing, you're allowing him to double your pawns,
Yeah, but they're not in front of my king,
which
so I could
he
care
does.
less.
There you go. Okay. So he goes for
I'm
it.
not saying I'm right by saying this, people. I'm just saying, that's my thought process. So like, my king's not over there. I don't care.
Yeah, love it.
Okay. So he
Okay.
takes with his rook. I take with my B pawn.
Okay, so you want to keep queens on the board again.
Uh, Not necessarily. Like I would be kind of cool with getting his queen off the board.
So did you think about queen takes on c5 instead of pawn takes?
I thought about it, but I didn't think it worked as well as it did. Um, it probably is the better move.
I don't know if it's better or not. It's at this point like a matter of taste.
Mhm.
Um, where like, or it's at least a strategical choice, I should say. Like, do you want to trade the queens or do you want to leave the queens on? So you played the move that leaves the queens on,
Yes.
but then you said you were not opposed to a queen trade. So this would have been the way to like encourage a queen trade strongly.
So do you
Um,
think in this position he would have traded?
Probably
See, because that's one of the
yes.
things that I have is I'm not sure
Well, what
if
else
they.
does he do? He could play queen b3. Uh, no, I start to get queasy. I think he would trade queens.
Okay.
Because queen b3 you could take on f3 again and then play rook d2. So,
Okay.
um,
Because I'm never sure they're going to, and then I start thinking, well, that gives them more options, and the other one is kind of.
well, yeah, so what's the alternative for white then? If he doesn't trade your queen there.
I don't know. That's why I
Yeah.
I played the one that I was like, okay, this is
Uh,
fairly easy
Fair
because
enough.
my queen's protecting this one, the two pawns on the fifth rank,
Cool.
and
Okay.
he's, you know, I don't see a way for him to get to my king. His knight isn't doing great because
Mm-hmm.
it's only got one square that's forward,
Mm-hmm.
being h4. So I could just take the knight whenever I want as well. So I usually
Right.
won't, but I could.
Right.
And one way that will make me take bishop for a knight trade is if I could damage their pawn structure
Yeah,
in front
for
of the king.
sure.
So I
Okay, so
didn't.
we're in an end game. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, are we?
I
So
would
this is
say
the argument. If the queens are on the board, is it an end game? Or
I
how many
would
points of material is it an end game? Or,
to me this is an end game. This is like a queens on end game because uh, your motives here are going to be end game driven.
yes.
So you're going to be thinking a lot about like, okay, you need to defend your weaknesses on the C file. You have potentially a better minor piece. You have to think about every transition into like a pure end game. So for example, in the rook end game, do you like your chances? Or in the queen end game, do you like your chances? Or in a minor piece end game, do you like your chances? So you have to be ready to like navigate into any of those like much more formal things.
Maybe yes. How about that?
I would definitely be thinking end game, like my end game hat would be on right now,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Well, I,
Okay.
I I would say if it was queen on queen, I'm pretty good. If it's rook on rook, I'm less. secure. If it's bishop on knight, I'm very secure.
Okay. All right. So how do we what's your thought about this position in general?
I'm feeling like I'm ahead
Okay.
with the bishop versus the knight being
Okay.
as open as it could be. I've got a pawn advantage. The only disadvantage I have is I think his king is still better than mine.
Hmm. His king, yeah, his king is better. I'm surprised that he was able to, or he wasn't able to get that pawn back as part of the thing. Maybe your F6 move was very good.
Hey,
Um,
I'm a giver, but not all the way.
yeah, all right. Okay, cool. So we are up a pawn. You can't argue with that.
Yep. Blind squirrel finds a nut.
There you go. All right, so let's keep going.
E4. I'm looking at this
E4.
going, my pawn can be a real pain right now
Yep,
because
yep,
it's doubly protected at that square and kicking their knight. Because I really, in my mind, I'm always looking at it like I really want their knight that's in the prime king position protection to leave.
sure.
And this is kind of getting it off that square. So I'm trying to get that knight off of the F3.
Okay,
Um, and then so he played knight to D2,
right,
which I think is okay. And then I just wanted to get my king off of the diagonal for the queen.
sure.
And then if I want to, I can play F6 now and protect my
Mm-hmm.
E4 pawn. No, I'm sorry. We can play F5 and protect my E4 pawn.
Mm-hmm.
He takes my pawn, which pins his knight.
Everything. Everything is everything is pinned.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
pins galore.
Okay.
And then he plays pawn,
Right. But
and
this
then
just gives you the yeah, you maintain the material.
so I move the F pawn up to protect. So it's basically going to be a knight for bishop trade, which I'm sure is fine with him. And now I've got my E pawn again. It's not as secure as it was before,
Okay.
but I'm still up a pawn.
We have a pass pawn. Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays queen to C4, adding pressure to my pawn, which now is attacked twice and defended once. And then I thought this was a pretty slick move. This was a Bill knows a little, not a lot, but a little bit about chess. So I played
Yeah.
rook to d4 and
That's
it
a
was
nice one.
protected by my pawn, which is protected by the queen and protects my rook, and says to the queen, "Yeah, buddy."
No objection to rook d4. Pushing the pawn was my first instinct. But there can't be anything wrong with this.
I was thinking it was in the middle. It's getting a tempo from their queen,
Hmm.
unless they have like a aneurysm or something, and you know.
Yeah.
So he moved to queen b5, which honestly I was surprised. I don't think
Okay.
it's good.
Well, it's not attacking anything, right?
No, it's just sitting over there on the wrong side of the board looking at empty squares.
Right.
So
Okay.
so then I played, you know, rook d2. I
Hmm.
figure I can be just either a nightmare pawn sweeper or um, trying to get the pawn more forward. And
Hmm.
because if I can play my e pawn two more squares, it's protected by the queen. And now if it's on e2, it's protected by the rook as well, so it's safe on that square, and it kind
Hmm.
of ties down both of his pieces.
Hmm.
And I've got
Also start thinking about mating him. When your rook is on d2, you can think
yes,
about the g2 square as well.
yep. So then he played queen to c4, which attacks two of my pawns, which is fine, but my queen protects the same two pawns.
Hmm.
However, I do have 2-on-1 on my e4 pawn because he's got the queen and the rook, and I've only got the queen.
Hmm.
So looking at e3, now it's back to 1-on-1 protection,
Hmm.
and I thought that was good. Then he plays queen c3,
Hmm.
which does attack my pawn again, leaving it 2-on-1, and attacks my rook, but my rook's
Hmm.
protected by my pawn, so it was kind of complicated. But So then I decide that I want to break the pin of my pawn, so I could move my pawn forward, and I played Queen G5, which
Mm-hmm.
protects my pawn. Does have mate in one, and he decides that my pawn is worth more than his king. And I was like, okay, that's good.
All right.
So
Uh,
I'm not
no,
sure this was a stellar end game for white.
uh, maybe not. Well, obviously not the way it ended. But I think that uh, your play at a certain point was just really fine. White never posed you a real problem. You converted pretty nicely. Uh,
I find that if I'm not pressured, I
mhm.
usually win. Like I'd probably, if you were to say, what do you win? I'd probably win like 75%.
Yeah,
But if I am pressured, I probably lose 60%.
sure. Interesting game. So I think if we were to just go back and click through really quick, and I mean like yeah, like a real
Okay.
like the quickest.
So
So
E4
E4 D6. So I think the thing that I want you to have in your mind is do you are you hoping to play C5 or are you hoping to play E5?
here?
Not here, but
No.
like in general with the spirit of playing D6.
So
I
the
think
three moves that I'm looking for are bishop,
yeah,
G4,
yeah,
E5, or C5.
right. So I think
And this one protects me against E5 with the pawn push.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm so with you. I just think having that answer really clear is like I'm aiming for E5 or I'm aiming for C5.
I'm in the, it depends on what they do.
It depends on what they do. Right. Um,
Like I'm not good enough to have a preference yet.
okay, fair enough. Continuing on, I think after his Queen D2 move, um, here, and this is where we flipped on the engine. Um, I think yeah, understanding that now is like the moment to equalize.
Or screw it
And
up. Don't forget I can
or
screw it up here.
you could screw it up. And it's more than just because it's more than just like this understanding that you won't blunder a pawn on c5. If you were to play c5 here, you're not blundering a pawn. It's more than just knowing that because after you played b6, your intention wasn't to play c5 right away. You were then like, well, hang on a minute, now I want to play my bishop out. So there was a little bit of like relaxation.
Yeah. So why is, I guess the question to me is C5 versus D6. Why is B6 so bad?
b6.
Yeah, B. This.
Yeah, so B6 weakens all your light squares, and it gives him all the time in the world to just go and kill you. So
Besides that,
I mean, like he has an unmolested center,
E5's,
and
yeah. I guess I didn't see the
so
impact of E5 here.
and honestly, like even though the computer's shouting it at you, like it's not even like E5 knight back, like, okay, fine, like it's good, but like even just H4, H5, which the computer says is second best and it's like almost half as good,
Yeah.
is what I
Right.
would be truly afraid of.
Yeah. So human
Um,
wise, you're more scared of H4 than E5.
yeah, and or even Bishop H6 and then H4, like the attacking ideas are just so ready for white.
Okay.
Like white has moved on to the middle game and black is still, and I understand why this might be controversial, but like black is still developing, he's still in the opening, and white is definitely mobilized and is ready to start attacking. So I think it's the slowness of B6 more so than like the weakness of the C6
Okay.
square, for example.
Because this
Um,
is like one of those times where I would look at the game through Stockfish. Okay. So process wise, what I do is I put down right after the game as quick as I can, I put down all my thoughts.
mhm,
And then I go back and I go through and I try to analyze the game. Kind of like what we did here,
mhm, mhm,
not as well. And then I go back a third time with Stockfish on. And this would be one of the times when I'm going through on my third time with Stockfish. Now, if we do a postmortem, that's in between It's either before the first one or after the first one.
Hmm.
If we were to go through here and I was clicking on, I'd be like looking at this going, I have no idea why Stockfish says E5 is so much better
Right.
and B6 is terrible because it goes
Right.
from, even to plus 1.5, 1.6, whatever.
Yeah.
So that this would be an example when I would go through with Stockfish and be like, no idea.
Right. And I that happens to be all the time. So that's why it's like way more important to talk through this with
Hmm.
somebody than to have stockfish. And I know
Yeah.
that's not always possible, but this is a
Right.
time where like it's almost there is no use to stockfish just being like, "Oh, you lose in 100 moves. Sorry."
That 117th move, you're not going to be happy.
Exactly. Like we're like seeing one move ahead, two moves ahead. Like none of that matters. So like even if C5 wasn't registering as a threat here, I think there should be alarm bells going off that like he can trade my best piece on G7. He is ready to castle the next move. So like in my mind, White's king is not in the center right here, even though he literally is. He can castle at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And black is not ready to threaten him. We're still very cagey and far back.
Yeah.
So between the moves, white moving his bishop to h6, white moving the pawn to h5, and the queen in and the knight to g5, like there's a lot of scary things happening. Um, that's why I'm thinking like, okay, vamos, we gotta do something here.
See, this is where
Um,
my bad play is a gift because I wasn't worried about any of that.
yeah, and it ended up not biting you, which is lucky. So let's keep going. B6, just give me a few more moves. Um, B6, he trades. Keep going. We trade. So like right here, E5. This
Move,
is
move 10.
certainly, yeah, this is certainly not the way for white to play. White
Um,
taking there is nonsense.
So you think push for white?
Uh, you don't even have to.
Just sit?
You could say you could play H4 because is black threatening anything suddenly? Like
Not yet.
if you take him, he takes back with the knight and improves that piece.
See, I
You
was thinking
remove
he can't do H4 because I can go here.
and is that threatening something if he just continues to push?
Listen, don't ask me these hard questions.
If I'm white, I'm bloodthirsty right now. So like moving your knight away from protecting the H5 square is like a very nice thing for me.
Okay.
So I would be thinking like keep that knight there no matter what.
Okay.
Um,
Until further notice, right?
until further notice. Like I would be curious and if take my H4 move off the board real quick, and go after move 10 E5. What does the engine say here?
Let's go see. It says castle long.
Castle long, no advantage. That's hard to believe.
Well, short, it says castle long is point 0.2 ahead and 0.05 ahead for short. So it is better, but not a big deal.
Uh-huh.
Remember,
Oh,
that's depth 47 for the top line.
yeah, still I'm not I mean I get it.
It says castle
Um,
though, for sure.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think
Well, let's see what the D takes is, because that's going to be I think that's going to be bad for you. Yeah, it lost like
yeah.
point 0.2.
Yeah, that's not surprising. But and again, I think maybe this is where, I'm a mere mortal myself. So the thought of white only being equal here is like, I don't know. White still has a center. So let's just play some moves. So let's castle with white, long castle.
Long,
And what's black supposed to do?
A6.
A6 is like, oh, and we don't know, but it seems to be much better than anything else.
A6 or RE8.
Okay,
Oh,
let's play
wait, no.
ace.
A6 or Queen E7.
Okay, Queen e7 makes some sense. Let's play a6 because that does make sense. Let's play a6 and then h4.
A6, and then it wants G4, actually. Oh, wait.
Oh, now g4 that's speaking my language. You see, okay, so that's a scary that's a scary move. That's a scary move.
Not to me.
Oh man. I need the
Well,
you
actually, it
need to
likes
teach
D
me a little
takes
bit.
G4 and H4.
No. Oh, it first takes and then plays G4. Interesting. Um,
See, this is why I would
okay,
lose
but
against
G
Stockfish. Full Stockfish.
see this
Just letting all the listeners know. To be honest, if I'm playing against full force Stockfish, I am not going to win.
you're not gonna win. But these are attacking ideas that are horrifying to me. So like takes and G4 is a really frightening idea. Because it's
Ignorance,
everything that I don't want to have happen.
ignorance is bliss, man. I am fine.
So, okay. To be fair, like this isn't deciding your games at this moment. So, I think I think that sense of danger maybe you should get used to some of these attacking ideas for white, like
Hmm.
position a bunch. The reason that moves like H4, H5 are jumping out and G4 looks really cool to me is number one, opposite sides castling.
Yep.
Number
That's
two,
that made me unhappy, by the way.
right, right. Number two, your king is unsafe because your best friend, your favorite defender is gone, the bishop. So your
Hmm.
king is very naked out there.
Hmm.
Um, and and uh and white has full control of the center at the moment. So you know,
But besides that,
but besides that, okay, I take it back about I take it back about full control. It doesn't really, but it's like it's a little too much for my taste. So anyway, a good game, truly. I think all it, even more than the calculation, which you know definitely led us astray a little bit.
you mean the one
Is
where I stopped
were
with the
you
queen?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Where you were like worried about the queen trade, not realizing
Or
that you were up a
whether I
piece.
wasn't really worried about it. I was thinking it wasn't better for me than having them on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, you were probably overthinking it because in the midst of everything, like you were winning material and just going to win the game. So,
You know.
but I would keep an eye as we keep doing this, and I'm sure we'll look at the other game another time or a different game another time. I'm going to keep my eye on whether or not you always like are worried about a queen trade. Um, is that
Generally, I
like a
would
thing?
prefer not to, but I'm
Yeah.
becoming more accustomed. Like, remember when I think we talked a little bit about when I started my whole game, because this was back when I was a kid and I played. I would beat almost everybody, like almost all the time, and all I would do is not drop pieces,
Hmm.
like pretty much just don't drop a piece,
It's
and
great advice.
I'd win. And that worked for me. My opening repertoire was either A4 or H4 because I wanted my rooks out, and just go for it in the center. Who cares about the center? That wasn't even a thought. And
Uh-huh.
all it was like make move. Is it safe? Let go of piece, and then let them bash
Right.
their heads against the rocks. So I
Right.
don't like to give up pieces inherently because I played that way. From the time I learned the game when I was like 4 or 5 till like senior in high school,
Yeah, I like that.
but not a lot. Like I wasn't like a chess player. I was a person who played board games.
Right.
So, I didn't know there was a chess book. I didn't know there was depth to this game. It was, read the Parker Brothers pamphlet on the little, rectangular box that had a chess set and a backgammon set and a checkerboard. And, that was it.
Yeah.
So knew nothing. And that's just how I played. So now when I started playing, giving up pieces, sacrificing things is so antithetical to everything I knew. I'm trying to do it. And if I see it to the end, no problem.
Hmm.
If I don't see it to the end, I start to feel like, am I doing what I call the fancy play syndrome, the FPS? Am I sacrificing
Hmm.
this because it's internet cool, meme worthy, or is it like strategic?
Hmm.
And I'm not
Right.
sure where that line is.
Sure. In the position that in this game, after
Getting there.
where was it that we were talking about we
Whoops,
were
went too far.
proposing C5, so it was a bit earlier, yeah.
Earlier?
Um,
I thought it was
yeah,
later.
it was when you played B6 was
Do,
the main
do,
thing.
do, 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 do. Here?
I know we're jumping all around. Yeah. So we were talking about C5 here. Oh, and
Oh,
we
that's
can
right.
flip the engine off as well.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
That's why everything's slow on my end.
yeah, exactly. So C5 here. we were talking about it, and you were
and I
not sure
stopped
you
here.
exactly, and
Yep.
you didn't want to allow them to take your queen, and like that made your brain shut off a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Rather than going the extra step to say like, am I losing my queen or am I trading queens?
I knew
Because
I was trading. So
okay,
so I knew I would trade, but I wasn't sure that this, after my rook recaptures, was
right,
better than this with my queens on the board. Because I
right.
thought I had more offensive options with the queen on the board, and I thought I was attacking and they were defending.
And do you still think that or
Well, I didn't say I was right. I just said,
well, I'm curious because like certainly the idea of having the extra piece is more important.
well, if I took his queen, I would be more okay with losing my queen because then he can't castle and he's stuck in the middle.
But okay, we're talking about kind of secondary points to the fact that you're up a bishop,
But when you're
right?
terrible, secondary point
But the
makes
question
things
is,
complicated, and that's where I lose the thread, I think.
right? You're thinking about the complicated stuff instead of the easy stuff, which
Yes.
is funny because you just told me about how you won every game by not dropping pieces.
Yes.
Which
But
is,
now
by the
I know
way,
what to do, so I play the hard stuff and screw up the easy stuff. It's very
that
simple.
if all you did was not drop pieces, you'll be 2000 by the end of the year. Like that will get you so far.
I love you, and you're one of my favorite chess players,
It's
but I need to take you somewhere because you are smoking crack, sir.
it is true. Um, in this case, white loses a piece, so it doesn't matter if you trade every other piece
Oh
in
yeah.
this position. Like the game is over.
So that is one thing that I have gotten to because I remember when I was early on, I was studying with a coach, and he used to say, if you're up a pawn, you've won the game. And I was sitting there saying, you aren't playing the same games that I'm playing. But now I'm to the point where if I'm up 3 points of material, it's definite. If I'm up two, it's pretty likely. Like I'm feeling really happy. And even a pawn, I'm feeling like, okay, I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yeah, so once I was up a piece, I should be thinking that way. Yeah.
We should say pieces for sure. Like you'll win a game if you're up an exchange or if you're up a piece, you should
Yeah.
expect to win those games.
Yeah, exchange is
Um,
kind of the borderline for me. It's like it's not the 100%. Yeah, yeah, you're dead. Just give up.
I'll
But
I'll go with that.
it's
Yeah,
getting
it's not
close.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
getting close.
I agree. So we would say like two pawns we should say is basically always a win. A piece is basically always a win,
Hmm.
an exchange is many more times than not it's going to
Yes.
be a win.
Yeah, it's most
Um,
likely, but not 100%. Yeah,
right. So
that's about where
in
I'm
this
at.
case, cool. In this case, you're up a piece. So we just stop calculating. We say, okay, we win the game. Whether he wants to keep queens on or trade queens, we don't care. We're going to win. We're up a piece.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's kind of the more important lesson from this
Okay.
particular situation.
Okay.
My homework for you
I have homework. I love homework.
is
I play less games than I should because I love homework way too much.
perfect. Okay, you're going to play one game, and it's going
Okay.
to be against a human being.
Okay.
You're going to either find them on the dojo, or you're gonna match on the ladder on either Lee Chess or
Play
Chess.com.
randos. Yeah.
You're going to play a random.
Yeah.
It'll be at the quickest a 15-10 game,
Oh,
but
that's the fastest game I've ever played.
okay, so that's the quickest it's allowed to be if
Okay.
nobody's on for 30 minutes, but 30 minutes is ideal.
Okay. With increment, right?
And with increment, yeah.
Yes. I'm
And
in.
then
So
you're
far, this sounds like fun.
so far so good. You're going to once the game is over, you're going to copy it into the dojo and leave the player's name out of it so
Okay.
that you won't be publicly flogging them
Okay.
in the future, just in case.
Okay.
And then we'll do the same exercise with a human game instead of a bot, and we're going to find a lot of things to be quite different, I think.
Okay. I can do that.
What do you
So
think?
so before we end the episode, if you got time,
Yeah.
we're not doing this to show off my spectacular win against a piece of silicon. We're kind of doing this to show what to do to go through an annotation and an
Hmm.
analysis of your game. So what did I do okay, and what
Great.
should we do?
Love it. So, as far as your um, annotations,
Okay.
Uh, Especially at the very beginning. You were writing basically stuff that you don't need to write down. Stuff
Okay.
like this is a book move, this is a book move, this is a book move, this is you can skip those. So your analysis, your annotations should be a little more targeted about like um I want to hear about things like my plan here is to do blank, blank, and blank.
Okay.
So for example, after he plays, I don't know, like knight to c3 on move 3 or something, you're like, okay, my plan here is to fianchetto my bishop, or my plan here is to play c5 and open the center, or my plan here is to play a6 and b5. Like, give me an insight into like what you're planning to do if white were to do nothing for a couple moves,
Okay.
because we need to be prepared for that.
Do you want candidate
Um,
moves too?
yeah, sure. Candidate moves are good.
Okay.
If you want to list them out, that it's totally fine. I would say I want to hear specifically times that when your opponent makes a move, I want to hear whether you were expecting the move or
Okay.
whether you were surprised by the move.
Okay.
And then one more branch there is I was expecting it and I think it was good. I was expecting it and I think it was bad. I didn't expect it. I think it was good. I didn't expect it, and I think it was bad.
Okay.
So one of those four categories, like once we get into the middle game. So I would say like the first six moves of this game, and you paused it on a perfect spot. The first six moves of this game basically didn't need an explanation, especially because like I know you like the system. You're going to play with less space with black. You're going to fianchetto, and you're going to fight for the center later.
Right.
Cool. Doesn't require much explanation unless to your, like you said before, white starts to do something crazy. Then we'll start talking about it earlier. But in this case, white just took the center and played kind of normally.
Okay.
Um, so I would say like give me ideas, give me plans of yours, tell me when something surprised you, and tell me when you think what they did was good,
Okay.
or if you think what they did was bad.
Okay. Do you want to see
And
alternate lines that I calculate out?
Yeah, so then we start to shift into like a different into the second segment, which is more of the analysis.
Okay.
So that first part's more annotation. When you analyze, yes, give me the stuff that you are able to see in your head.
Okay.
Show me those lines. So like, okay, here I saw that if I pushed the pawn, then he would take and I would take, and I didn't see farther than that. Okay, cool. So let's just put that on the board and kind of make it a relic of the game. And then we can go into that, like, oh, should we have spent time calculating that? Did we calculate it well?
Hmm.
And so on and so forth. Um, so yeah, you can go into it a little bit. I still say we are like light years away from making Stockfish useful for us, so I would just leave the engine off.
Okay.
And then at a certain point, we're going to be, and I still think like we're definitely in the uh, concept learning mode plus tactical, like true, like ironclad tactical understanding, where like we know when to be afraid of a discovered attack. We know when to be afraid of a pin or something like that. Just because we don't want to be unsure about these one movers.
Hmm.
So if you see these things, like, yeah, write it out. Like, oh, I saw this pin and I wanted to exploit it like this. Or if
Forks.
he,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He can't play this move because I can play this move. Like anything that you saw in that regard, we want to see it and we want to double check. Like, okay, were you seeing ghosts when you saw that fork and it's not actually a fork? Or it's like, oh, I saw this fork, but he could just take my knight for free, so I was hallucinating. Like
Yes.
these are good things to start to get to know.
What
So really,
about
it's like, oh,
what
go
about
ahead.
when you like I don't know, this may be just my mutant brain. They make a move and my immediate move is this. And then it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. Do you want to know when I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because that's like the intuition. And usually if I my intuitive mood is terrible.
Great.
It's
So
just
let's see it and maybe diagnose. We can definitely glean something from it.
okay.
Whether whether it's helpful or not, we'll see later. But I think it can't hurt.
Yeah.
to know like
At
what
least
would
I
you
don't just
do
click anymore. It's just like
exactly.
intuition click. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
bad. That
Doesn't
was,
Jesse have a thing that's like I forget what his things are, but it's uh like the 1 second, 10 second, one
yes.
minute thing, or like I
Yes.
forget what it is, but
Yeah.
having that like 1 second, like what would I play if I needed to move now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like put that down, especially if it's relevant or like you almost did it and you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Because usually
basically
it's like, I
like
just don't see that. It's like, oh, I can get you, but you can get me first. Okay.
yeah, and we want to see those moments so that we can start to get the patterns. Like, oh, whatever, like you miss this kind of thing more often than you see it or something.
Right.
Um, so I think, yeah, first of all, great game. You converted really well. You saw a lot of stuff. And like the critique here is not that much, believe it or not. I think we need to see against a human.
Yes.
I really do. I think engines are going to make certain mistakes that are just not we don't deal with them the
Even
same ways.
Sammy Shmeshnikov?
Even Sammy, yes. So anyway, you have homework to do,
I
and
do. You're
I think
making
we'll
me
hit
play
it.
chess. You know,
Yeah.
you're terrible.
I think we'll hit the next one. So does that help kind of guide you into like the types of thoughts that are
It
interesting?
does. It does. I
Okay.
think the big thing was, not necessarily trying to get the most out of this for me, but trying to illustrate to somebody else because they'll see or they'll
Right.
hear that annotating a game is great or analyzing a game is great. But it always bothers me when we say something, like how many times have I heard, somebody much better than me saying, just put your pieces on the right squares. Well, dude, if I knew what the right square was, they'd be there.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
it's not like the square lights up and goes, "Hey, this is for me. Put your
Yeah.
square here." So I thought this would be helpful to illustrate exactly, what I'm doing at least, and then augmenting it with what going through it, the value of going through it with somebody who's a better player than me, which there's no doubt, and also what you can do to do the next level. So I hope this was good, and if people like this, then maybe we'll do another one in the future. Who knows?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And comments, questions, I'm happy to hear it from your viewers too. Because we can dig into this. And frankly, there's no one size fits all.
No.
But I think the ability to write in the most accurate way possible what was going through your mind during the game, which includes like the short variations that you calculated, the things that surprised you or didn't surprise you, the things you expected but then didn't happen. Because
Hmm.
then if we were to find like, oh, I keep expecting this thing to happen, and then like maybe you were to talk to one of your pluses and they would say, oh, well, you should never worry about that because X, Y, or Z. That becomes like an immediate fix, and then
Right.
it's like it saves you years of therapy, frankly.
Well, I mean, I could
So
use that. You know, we did have somebody shockingly write in saying, "Hey, do you need a minus?" And I was like, that might actually not be bad.
I think that's great. You
I mean, I
should.
have one that we do, but they're less than willing to come on to the podcast and be ridiculed you know, falsely. But, if somebody else wanted to do it, that might be fun. And because no matter where you are, there's always a plus and there's always a minus and there's always an equal. So
Amen.
you happen to be like a several pluses above me. So I'm hoping just to get like one less plus. Maybe you're only three pluses instead of four.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, I'm surrounded by pluses, so
Well, no matter where you are, everybody thinks they're bad. So
exactly. Anyway, good game. And good job annotating it as well. I think you definitely spent some time on it, which is half the battle, frankly.
yeah, because my annotations usually take about 2 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, for
Okay.
me, when I come home from a club game or something, I'm up till midnight writing about it, just because I don't want to forget anything. And I usually forget stuff anyway, like on the drive home or the train home. It's like
Yeah.
I do my best, but you know,
Very well.
life is hard anyway.
It is. If chess was easy, it wouldn't be quite so much fun.
Exactly. Yeah, well said. Nice.
So thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Another one in the books, and we still have to do that plan for the New York trip because I've got dice with your name on it. They're sitting
Okay.
right there, right over there.
Perfect. We'll make a plan. I'm sure we will.
Exactly. Fred Wilson, bring in my
All
wheelbarrow.
right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Take her easy.
All right.
We show up after the clock, coffee gone, boards unlocked. You move your night, I move my mind. Late to chess, but right on time. Tell me what you saw before the queen fell hard. Every bad idea turns into a spark. Late to chess, we make a mess, then we make sense. Late to chess, one more game, one more defense. Late to chess. Back brain pressure, slipping fast. You swear that advantage can't last. We laugh when the opening snaps and drag your perfect plan right back. Say the line, take the shot. Who's the king and who forgot? Every blunder, every dare, we're already in the air. Late to chess, we make a mess, then we make sense. Late to chess, one more game, one more defense. Late to chess. Half-life hopes and checkmate dreams, broken hearts and clean-up schemes. When the room goes black and red, we still go 10 moves ahead. Late to chess, we make a mess, then we make sense. Late to chess, one more game, one more defense. Late to chess, we fall, we rise, we love the stress. Late to chess.